Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys had a wonderful day today and really glad to see you guys. And finally, we can open our video, right? On our video. So that is good. I see people join in. So as you guys can see on the screen, we have around 2.5 minutes before we officially begin at 7 p.m. Till then, we have some minutes to warm up the room a little bit and just create the vibe for the theme, right? And something that I was really excited about was like there were about 70 plus people who registered for the event. So it's a pretty powerful room to be in. So welcome to the room where we talk about execution and not just ideas. All right, let's do one thing then. I have a quick question for you guys. Let's suppose you guys had $10,000 today, or let's say somebody gave you $10,000. What would you guys do with it? Option A, save it. Option B, invest it. Option three, start a business.
Anna,
Option four,
hello.
hello. Can you guys please unmute your mic for now? Do one thing, write in the chat what you guys would do with that money. All right, let me also send this question in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you guys ask me, I would say maybe just save it because that sounds like a safe option, right? Spend it on a vacation through Europe. All righty. Thank you for being honest. +1 for that. Does anyone else has an option? Invest it. Okay, long-term thinkers in the room. Well done. And what is that first word that comes in your mind whenever you hear about e-commerce? Is it freedom? Is it risk? Is it chaos? Or is it passive income? Or is it Amazon? Because that is what comes in my mind. What is the first word that comes in your mind whenever you hear about e-commerce? Let me know in the chat. Risk and reward both makes sense, right? Marketing, well done. Interesting. What else, guys? Marketing, reward, risk, strategy, right? It is like any other business. So that's good. Okay, we have around 13 seconds now before we finally start officially. So relax, grab a bottle of water, grab a notebook because this one is going to move fast. There you go. Hello and welcome everyone to Nepali Leaders Network's Leadership Speaker Series. My name is Alisha Khatri and I'm going to be the host of today's session. At Nepali Leaders Network, our mission is simple: to empower emerging and established Nepali leaders to connect, to grow, and to give back. Leadership Speaker Series is one of the many ways we do that. It's a space where we bring real conversations, real lessons, and real experiences to our community member. And today's session is going to be thoughtful, it's going to be structured, and more importantly, it's going to be practical. Our featured guest today is Mr. Ankit Shrestha, CEO and founder of Kith Suppliers. He's built a $15 million e-commerce business before he turned 30. Yes, before he turned 30. Isn't that crazy? By focusing on systems, by focusing on strategy, by focusing on operational excellence and discipline execution. So everybody, join me in welcoming the guest speaker for today, Mr. Ankit Shrestha. Ankit Dai, welcome. And thank you so much for being here.
Hello, Alicia. How are you guys?
Super good, Dada. How's everything in there?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for the
Well,
warm welcome.
of course, really, really glad we could make this happen. And 70 plus people registered for the event means there is really something valuable that they can take out of this conversation. Everybody is looking for a framework. I'm also some kind of a person who is interested in business once in a while. So I'm also interested to look out for steps, the practical steps, the
Yeah.
practical frameworks that one can take away about business. All right, guys, this is how today is going to flow. So I'm going to guide the conversation with a few panel questions, the structure questions that are built on each other, and guide the whole fundamentals of the e-commerce itself. After that, the last 15 minutes will open it up for the audience Q&A. And this time in the audience Q&A, you actually have an option to raise your hand, unmute your mic, ask your questions directly to the speaker. So that's going to make it more interactive, more like a real room, right? After that, we're trying something new this time. So last 2 minutes, we are doing something like rapid fire round, in which I'll be asking 10 to 12 questions to Ankit Dada. Ankit Dai will have maybe just few words and maximum one sentence to answer all those questions. So that way we have a summary of whole 60 minutes in just 2 minutes. That's the plan. So it's going to be fun. And before we wrap up, I'm going to be dropping a short feedback form. We would really appreciate you guys filling that form because we genuinely value those feedbacks. All right. It's going to be a fun learning experiment. So go ahead. We are going to dive right in. So relax and get ready. So, Ankit, let's start here then. Before we even talk about scaling numbers, right? Before we even talk about revenue and numbers, what exactly, in simple terms, is e-commerce business? When we say you run an e-commerce business, what does a day-to-day look like for you?
Yes, yeah. So basically, in layman's terms, you purchase a product from a supplier, and you sell that product to your customers using an online platform, right? So it's basically another word for e-commerce. It's an e-tailer, right? So everyone is aware of the business model retailer, which is basically a brick and mortar store, right? Which is for the past decades, everyone has been doing that. So the store merchant purchases the products and then brings it to their store, and then they sell it to the customer who comes into their store. So that is the retail part side of it. So the e-tailer is basically the same thing, but we sell it to our customers via online. So whenever they place an order, it's going to their doorstep within 24 hours.
Wonderful. So it sounds more operational than it is glamorous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very operational. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's a really clear explanation. Let's build on that now. Let's make this a little practical. So, whenever someone starts, I guess every single individual in this room is has once in a while thought about starting a business, and the starting process is usually sporadic. It's random, right? Which usually starts with watching tons of videos on YouTube because we don't have a framework. So, if somebody in here is planning to start from 0K to 10K in e-commerce business, what are the first five non-negotiable steps that they should follow?
Well, first of all, whenever people hear about this business model, the first thing that comes to their mind is dropship, right? Which is completely that's the misconception about the e-commerce in general, but specifically about Amazon. It is not a dropship model business. So, that kind of business does not even exist anymore today. It used to be 5 years ago, but that kind of business model does not exist. So basically, when it comes down to catering down to five steps, there are different business models within the Amazon e-commerce umbrella, right? So there is retail arbitrage, which is an RA. There is OA, which is online arbitrage, and there is another business model which is FBA wholesale, and then there is another which is private label, right? So retail arbitrage is something that if someone wants to understand and kind of like get their feet wet on how this business model works. Retail arbitrage and online arbitrage is the safe side because you probably only need around $500 to $1,000 to start up the business, right? Like a starting working capital. So basically, what is a RA? Means you go to the stores, like you go to Target, you go to Walmart, right? You go to Costco, Sam's Club, those kind of places, and you purchase products from there, and then you sell it on Amazon,
Gotcha.
right? So you flip the product. So you purchase for $5 in stores, and then you sell it on Amazon, your store, for $10, right? So that's RA. So online arbitrage, which is another one, which is basically you do the same thing, but instead of you physically going to every store and purchasing the product, you go into Target.com, Walmart.com, or Costco, right? Or Kohl's.com, and then you purchase products from their website directly and then have them shipped to your warehouse or your house and right, and then you sell it at your store via online, right? So it's basically retail arbitrage. Go to the brick and mortar store. Online arbitrage, you can just place your orders from your house, right? And then you got another business model, which is FBA wholesale. So wholesale is basically like once you get your feet wet and you're trying to scale, and that's where it comes wholesale business model, where you purchase products from suppliers directly in bulk, and then have them come into your warehouse or your house, and then you prep it, and then you send it to Amazon's warehouse, and then you sell it, right? So basically, you are basically purchasing that same product for less because you're purchasing at a wholesale price and you're purchasing in bulk. So that way,
Mhm.
it's going to be easier for you to scale, right? And then the other business model is, which is a different ball game, which is the private label part of it, right? So basically, you come up with your product. It can be something new or something that has already been introduced in the market, right? So, when it comes to private label, it's your own product. You work with the suppliers in China. You put your stamp on the packaging of whatever your brand logo, and then you sell it on Amazon, right? So whenever if someone wants to start from zero to like 10K in the first 90 days, what I would recommend is starting from doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage because there is less risk and the reward could be higher or low. Really depends on the product that you source.
Sounds good. So that's really structured. I like it. So if I'm summarizing that right, the five different business models are four different or five different again?
There's four.
Four different, right?
Yeah,
Those are RA, the retail arbitrage, this, then online arbitrage and FBA wholesale and private label, right? Let
correct.
me underline that for the
Yeah.
audience. And if somebody wants to start fresh, start new, they should basically start with RA and online arbitrage because that's the simple way to get started.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, let's build on that and let's take it for one step further. What is the realistic startup budget today in 2026? Are there any cost that beginners underestimate? And how should one like allocate their capital across inventory, ads, tools, and operations?
Um, so like I mentioned, retail arbitrage and online arbitrage to purchase the inventory, you probably need around $500 to like $1,000. But also you need to put into consideration your shipping cost from your house to the Amazon's fulfillment centers across the country, right? And there are another hidden costs such as your shipping supplies, like your boxes, your shipping tape, Sharpie, box cutter, bubble wrap, poly bags, like those kind of stuffs. You need to have like an additional, I would say, $250 to $400 just for those supplies to start with.
What have you seen the beginners underestimate? Which particular cost do they not think about when starting?
It's the shipping cost and to basically to run the operation, right?
Got it.
So let's say I went to a Target store. I found a product that was on clearance for $5, and I see that the same product is selling it for $10, let's say, for example, right?
Mhm.
So people are going to automatically assume that it's a $5 profit, right? But that is a gross margin,
Mhm.
right? We're not talking about net margin. So gross margin looks good. You're investing $5 and then you're getting back $5, right? Which is 100% ROI. But people don't really keep into mind that when you purchase that product, you have to ship it across the country. And then also, if a product is in liquid form or if it's a fragile item, you have to purchase bubble wraps and you have to purchase poly bags, right? And then poly bags is on average is about 5 cents per poly bag. And then
Mhm.
bubble wrap is about 10 cents to 12 cents per wrap, right? So you have those hidden overhead cost, right? So after you calculate all that cost, and then if it makes sense for you to sell that product, then you go ahead and sell that product.
Now, since that we are talking about products themselves, earlier when somebody thinks about starting business, they have so many creative ideas, right? So many options to get started with, and so many products to actually think about. How do you know which products are going to flop in the market, which products are going to bring success? How do you evaluate the products before committing the capital?
Yeah, so basically, within the Amazon seller app, there is a scanner option where you can actually go and scan the UPC code, right? So for example, this if you guys can see it, there's this UPC barcode, right?
Yeah.
So when you go ahead and open up your Amazon seller account, within the app there is one functionality where you can um, scan the barcode, right? So once you scan the barcode, it tells you at what price it's selling it on Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first part, right? And then you see if it's profitable or not, right? It's so there are so many follow-up steps that you need to do. Like you need to do the market research, right? So for example, I would love to show you guys the softwares that I use, but it's just we use like three or four softwares at the same time. So there's a high chance that I'm gonna drop this call. So that's why I'm just gonna talk you guys through about it.
Got
Okay,
it.
so it's the keeper chart. So keeper chart is basically that's going to tell you how the market has been performing like since the start, right?
Mm.
But I'm going to basically look at how the product has been performing for the past 3 months, 6 months, right? So basically the chart, if you have to visualize it, it's going to look very similar to the stock chart, right? You see this up and down graph. So it's going to be very similar to that. So there's going to be three types of graph, right? And then given the time frame, I can see, if this product was selling at $8 last week,
Mm-hmm.
how many sellers were selling the same products at that time, and then overall, like how many units I can sell per month, right? So I have to take a look at it for the how it was performing for the past 30, 60, and 90 days, and kind of take the average, and then put this let's say on average was the $9, and I purchased that product for $4, right? And then I put in my cost, and I put in extra 30 to 40 cents as my overhead cost, and then I know that that product is profitable. So I go ahead and like just purchase like maybe like 20, 30 products just to test the market, right? Um, you're using all of this data to gather all the information. But again, once you purchase the product and you sell it on Amazon, you have your real data for your company, right? So once you have that real data, the second batch, you can probably purchase 90 units, right? Because the first, using the keeper chart, you probably purchased like 30 units, and then you got sold out in 15 days, right? So the next day, if you want to like be in stock for like a month, you can go ahead and purchase like 60 or 70 units. So that's how like that's how you purchase products, that's how you source products, and that's how you analyze products.
Got it. And this is a feature for Amazon sellers in Amazon itself, right?
Yes, not Amazon itself. This is like a third party extension,
Mm-mm.
a software that is strictly made for Amazon sellers,
Got
right?
it. What's
So
the name?
the
Yeah.
name of this software is Keepa, Keepa.
If you could write that in the chat for the audience, it will be keep
Sure.
us software. Wonderful.
And for another tool that I use in order to analyze the product is called Rev Seller, right? So REV Seller. So
Gotcha.
that is like the calculator that we use to see if that product is profitable or not, right? So there's different functions within that softwares, but just to tell you guys, overall, like from a bird's eye view. That's how there are sections where we put in, okay, it's selling it for $10, and then my cost is $5, right? And then underneath that $5, that does not mean I'm making $5, right? Like I mentioned earlier, there is the shipping cost that you need to add in. There is this prepping stuffs like poly bags or bubble wraps that you need to add in, right? And then also, if you're doing FBA, right? So within the Amazon's business model, you can sell the same product doing FBA or FBM, right? So FBA is fulfillment by Amazon, right? Then this is what you do is going back to my first example, purchase products from Target, and then you send it to Amazon's fulfillment center across the country, right? And when the product comes in, Amazon's gonna pick your product and they're gonna ship it to your customer. And they're gonna provide you with the customer service, with the returns and all those kind of stuff, right? But for that, they're gonna charge you extra
Mm-hmm.
because it's the referral fee and there's pick and pack fee. So those are like the hidden cost when you do FBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in another hand, it's FBM, which is fulfillment by merchant. So what is this basically means is once you purchase the products, you have it in your house or your warehouse, and when you receive the product, you have to personally go to USPS or UPS, put it inside the box, and then you have to ship it to the customer personally. So that is a lot of legwork if you're selling a lot of units, right? In that case, you only have to put in your overhead costs such as shipping cost and your prepping cost and your COGS, which is cost of goods sold.
Got it. So if it's a less number of product, FBM is better, and if it's high number of product, FBA is better.
Yes, you can put it that way as well, but it
Mm-hmm.
really depends. It really depends on what kind of product is it, right? But personally speaking, from my experience, as you all of you guys know that, Amazon Prime memberships, right?
Mm-hmm.
People pay, I think it's like $140 per year for that Prime member exclusives, right? So since the customers are already paying that kind of money, they prefer FBA because that is catered towards Prime members, right?
Yeah.
And if someone purchases a product via FBA seller and they are a Prime member, they can receive that products at their doorstep within 24 hours. Versus if they do FBM, um, the customer is going to receive the products in like 7 to 8 days. And the most crazy thing is people actually pay extra $2, $3
Mm-hmm.
uh, in order to get that product tomorrow. But there are some customers who want to save $5. They can wait for a week. So there are different kinds of customers.
Got it. Got it. So, since we are talking and we are circling back to cost again and again, I wanted to go back and clarify that topic a little more. So, when we were talking about allocating the capital across different subjects, right, across different sectors like inventory, tools, ads, operations. So, let's simplify this and let's say I have $100, or let's say you have $100, and when you have to kind of categorize that $100 into different buckets, how do you do that? How much goes in operations? How much goes in tools, inventory, and the different expense sector?
Well, $100 is very less because I can tell you the Keepa chart that I
Mhm.
mentioned earlier, that itself is $30 a month of subscription,
Wow.
right? And then RevSeller is about like $100 per year, right? And then in order to have a Amazon seller account, it's about $35 per month, right? So $100 is very, very less. But let's go back. Let's say one thousand
Yeah,
dollars,
yeah,
just to be on the
perfect.
safe side, because we have to purchase shipping supplies as well, right?
Mhm.
So let's say you purchase products for $500, right? You can set aside another 200 to $300 for shipping supplies, right? And then comes down to having your allocating some budget for your softwares,
Mhm.
right? So you need to have softwares because without the software, you won't be able to verify what product is going to be profitable for you or not, right? So in that case, it's Keepa and RevSeller. Those two tools are very essential to succeed in this
Mhm.
business model. So regardless of what business model you choose.
So operations, the shipping cost for sure,
Mhm.
and overhead cost that most people ignore, and the tools itself, right? The softwares.
Yes. So divide into like three different parts.
Gotcha. Wonderful. Now, talking about the different mistakes that beginner end up making, in the first 6 to 12 months, what have you seen is the most common beginner mistake that quietly kills the momentum of the business? That could be operational wise, financial wise, or even psychological wise.
So from my experience, what I've seen, a lot of new sellers, they chase those viral, trendy products, those TikTok products, right? So in order to have that sustainable business, um, you should not follow those trendy products because um, there are a lot of sellers selling the same product, right? And then there's going to be pricing war. There's going to be penny wars. So it's going to go all the way to the down, to the bottom. It's going to go all the way to the bottom. So, yeah, you might make like quick 200, 300, $500,
Mm.
but it's not sustainable. So a lot of these new sellers, inexperienced sellers, they kind of they like want to jump to like these kind of trends to make few bucks, but it's not healthy in the long run. So that's the main issue that I'm seeing with new sellers, right? That's one thing. So another thing is over purchasing, right? So with the help of Keepa, you can verify, how many units is being sold per month, right? So for example, one of the products that you purchase from Target sells about 100 units a month,
Mhm.
right? But then if you don't do your market research properly and if you go ahead and purchase 300 units, right? That's going to be almost 3 months of inventory, right? So when you're starting earlier, you don't really have a lot of budget to purchase products, right? So if you put all the eggs in one basket, you're stuck for 3 months, right? So your cash flow is really messed up. You can't really grow, right? So it's very important to like not have all of your eggs in one basket. So like maybe purchase like 5 or 10 different products in different categories and then kind of like, you know, try to understand how each product is performing, right? And then when it comes to replenishment, you can go ahead and purchase what products were selling fast, what products were selling good, you're making a lot of good money, and then what products price tanked. So those kind of product you don't purchase anymore. All right, so that's the thing. So another thing that I wanted to talk is when it comes to an experienced seller, Amazon has been very strict about prepping the products, right? So I'm sure some of you guys have purchased like some sort of like fragile items from Amazon before, right? So what happens when you receive the product? It's like the glass is broken, it's leaking, right? Those kind of stuffs. So like if you don't prep those kind of products properly, what you're gonna get bad reviews from the customer, right? And then if you start getting a lot of bad reviews, it's going to accumulate, and then that's going to eventually turn that Amazon into having your account suspended because you didn't follow the policy. So that's one of the things that Amazon is very strict about it, right? Because at the end of the day, we're selling products on Amazon.com. So we're selling it to Amazon's customer. So we have to make sure that we are following Amazon's rules and regulation, right? So it's basically creating a bad impression if I send a product and when a customer opens up the box, there's glass all over the place, there's leakage all over the place, and they're gonna submit that complaint to Amazon, and then they're gonna see who sold it. It's me. I get the blame, right? So that's the thing that people really need to understand, those new sellers. And then also, another thing is not sourcing from legit suppliers, right? So when you purchase products from Target or Walmart, sometimes Amazon reached out to you, and they're gonna ask you for verification, right? They're gonna ask you, okay, you purchased these products, right? Where did you get this product from? You please submit the invoice, right? So if you cannot submit the invoice, or if you submit an invoice from a sketchy supplier or distributor, um, that's a major red flag for Amazon, and they're gonna shut down your account, right? So those are like this thing that people really need to keep in mind if they're starting, the first phase. These are like the important stuffs that they really need to keep in mind, because one small mistake, your account is suspended and you're
Mhm.
done. You cannot. You probably have to like hire a lawyer. It's gonna cost you a couple grands, and it's not even worth it.
Got it. So it again highlights the same idea that e-commerce business is like any other business, right? It takes time. It needs the strategic thinking. It needs to be sustainable. Plus, it needs to follow the rules and regulations. Wonderful. Very well explained. Now, I know we touched upon it a little bit earlier as well. Again, what do most people misunderstand about revenue versus the actual profit uh, and the margins, besides the overhead cost and everything? Can you explain that a little more?
Yeah, so whenever people hear revenue, it's not equal to money you keep, right?
Mhm.
So there are, operational expenses that can add up real quick. If you do not manage that properly, that's going to eat your margin real quick. So having that, so make sure that you have those expenses. It's catered towards whatever product is it, right? It has to be very, very efficient, right? So you shouldn't be spending a lot of your money on operational expenses, right? So in order for that, you need to have like a solid system, right? So if a product comes in, you need to know how it should be prepped, right? So for example, we have like this barcodes on each product,
Mhm.
where you put it on top of the UPC, right? So for example, I have this product. I'm gonna show it to you guys. You see the barcode,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So this
Uh-huh.
is my barcode. So if someone scans this barcode, it directs to my store, right? So each seller is gonna have a different barcode for and then there's gonna be different types of barcodes for every products, right? So expenses like that is gonna cost probably like 2-3 cents per label, right? And then you got poly bags and all those kind of stuff that we talked about. And then also there are so many invisible costs to run the business, right? So there's obviously your cost of goods, your shipping and your freight cost, the Amazon fees, right? There are so many Amazon fees. The one I touched based on earlier was the storage fee, the referral fee, the pick and pack fee, right? So another fee that we need to keep in mind is the referral fee. There's 8% and then 15%, right? So if you sell a product below $9.99, your referral fee is 8%, right? Um, so um, No, actually, let me tell you. Let me get back. So if you purchase a product or you sell the product, so sorry, you sell the product and you sell that product on Amazon for 14.99 or below, your referral cost is 8%. So anything above 15 and up, it's 15% your referral, right? So so you just have to keep that in mind when it comes down to selling on Amazon. And then you got your storage fees, right? So it's very important to be efficient, right? So going back to your example, my example that when I talked about, if a product is selling 100 units a month, and if you purchase 300 units of that same product, you're going to be stuck with that inventory for 3 months, right? So Amazon has this policy where if you have a certain amount of products in at their warehouse, they're going to charge you extra. So you're already paying for storage. They're gonna charge you for I think it's the overstay fee, something like that, right? Because it's been at their warehouse for way too long, right? So usually when I personally purchase my products, I try to keep it within the 31 days and I recycle it. So that way I'm just paying for that storage fee, the regular storage fee, and I'm not paying for the surpass storage fee, right? So that's another thing. And then you have to see returns, right? Um, returns, there's like a lot of returns that you need to keep in mind as well, right? So there are some products that the customer is gonna purchase it and then just gonna give it back to you, and that's gonna accumulate into your cost as well. So that's one of the hidden cost returns, right? Because Amazon's gonna pay you a certain amount of money. I think the minimum is $1.50 per unit to have it returned to your warehouse. So
Mhm.
that is another additional hidden cost, right? And then you got your PPC ad, pay-per-click ads that you have to run for your products, right? So whenever you guys go to Amazon.com, and on the top page, you see sponsored on that small bar, right? Next to the picture. Have you guys noticed that or not? Yeah, that is advertised listing. So it's PPC campaign that they're running. So it's usually 5 cents per click. That's the budget, right? So that's another hidden cost. And then you got, of course, your payroll, you pay the employees, softwares, and everyone is required to have a business insurance for your Amazon store, right? So that's going to be around 150 to $180 per month business insurance, right? And then you have your taxes and your chargebacks and all those kind of stuff. So when I get my money from revenue and when I subtract all these expenses, and then it comes down to bottom line net profit. And that's the money that I'm making, right? So if my revenue is $1 million a month, I'm not making $1 million a month. There are costs that to run the operation. So after I deduct that, then I go to the bottom of my net profit, and that's the actual money that I make.
Wow, that really says number can look big, but then margin tells the truth, right?
Yes, margin tells the truth.
Perfect. And I know you mentioned about the system earlier slightly, so I want to dig deeper on that. People our age, wanting to do everything, they're always in rush. They have so many ideas. They're hustling every single day. But what point did you realize the hustle alone is not gonna give you success? What kind of system did you create to predict the revenue and scalability?
Um, I mean, the moment I realized that revenue would dip anytime I stepped away from the company, that's when I understood that if it can't run without you, it
Hmm.
won't scale beyond you, right? So in order to have that system is very, very important, right? And then when it comes down to hustle, it's hustle is like, so what hustle does, it creates that momentum, right? That first dopamine hit. But
Hmm.
if you don't have a system that's gonna back up your hustle, eventually it's gonna slow down, right? So it's very important to have that system to support your hustle.
When we say system, what does system or framework look like in your case? What is that system that you rely on?
So for in our company, we have SOPs, standard operating procedure for every task where we
Mhm.
do it more than once, right? And that's how we train our employees as well. And that's how, as a business owner, if anyone is looking to start doing this kind of business, it's very important to have an SOP for if they want to scale it, right? So so whenever you have SOPs for each task that you do, um, it's very it's going to be easier for you as a business owner, if someone leaves the company and if you hire a new employee, it's going to basically create that smooth transition, right? So when it comes to system for my business, we have set aside SOPs for everything, right? So when the shipment comes in, what are we supposed to do? It's supposed to go into a designated area, and where we break down the shipment, and then we make sure that there's no discrepancies in the shipment, there's no leakage, there's no shortage or anything, right? And then we put it in on the shelves where it's supposed to go, and then the preppers are gonna come. They pick the products, and then based off of the products, they prep it, right? For example, the candies. you don't have to prep it. All you gotta do is put the label on top of the UPC, right? And then that's done. But if it's like a fragile item, you gotta put it in a bubble wrap. And if you're selling candies as a 2 pack, 3 pack, 4 pack, 6 pack, you gotta put it inside the poly bag, right? So all these instructions are written in our system once they scan the barcode, right? So after that, they put it back um, to in order to create the new shipment. So it's gonna basically go in the new in a circle, in a flow. So the product comes in, it goes into the designated area, the prepper comes in, scans the product, look at the instructions, they prep it, and then they put it in another pallet. So the next time it's ready to go in a truck, and then it's going to be shipped out to FBA fulfillment centers across the country.
Got it. So, when you earlier mentioned about the different business models, I had a question. What is the specific business model that your business follows, or
So
is
my
it a mix?
Yeah, so my business model right now we follow the wholesale model, right? But I started this business. When I started this business, I started as doing retail arbitrage, right? So just to get my feet wet, trying to understand how this business actually works. So I started by doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. I used to physically go to stores, purchase products like stores like GameStop, Target, Costco, Sam's Club, Shaw's, Market Basket, Walmart, right? So I went there, purchased the products, and then for online arbitrage, I went to the Walmart.com, Target.com, right? That's how I started uh, my journey, and that's how I realized that to a certain extent, it's very hard to scale your business. You know, RA and O is very good for you to have your feet wet, but once you understand the game, in order to scale, you have to transition to the FBA wholesale business model.
Got it, got it. Now, that would also require specific skills, right? Like understanding of the business itself. So, what specific skills are allowed you to build that multi-million dollar operation? Were there any particular skills that made the biggest difference?
It's not a particular skill, but it's about like stacking your skills as you go, right? So, so the first thing is you need to learn how to read numbers,
Hmm.
right? And if you're in this business, you need to learn to read the numbers without any emotion, right? It's all about data, right?
Hmm.
If the data tells you to purchase, it's profitable, and how much it sells in a month, you go ahead and purchase that product, right? When it comes down to emotion, it's about like, if you have a good relationship with your suppliers, right? You have a very nice sales rep. But at the end of the day, if it's not beneficial to your business, if it's not making money, you should stop doing business with those kind of suppliers, right? Because you have to go and move on to find another supplier where you actually can make some money, right? So that's that. And then one of the skill which is very important is negotiation and relationship leverage. Like so, to in order to stay in this business, you know, you need to really know how to have a leverage that relationship, right? Because from one relationship, you can get introduced to another relationship where you can actually, build up that new business relationship that you can work with, that new supplier that you can work with from one supplier, right? So in my case, I had one of my sales rep that I was working with. He introduced me to like different suppliers when we went to expos, right, trade shows, right? So once you get to the FBA wholesale business model, you have to go to trade shows. There are plenty of trade shows that's happening across the country. So it's very important to go to trade shows. And then I was introduced to, different suppliers within that industry. So like, I was basically leveraging my relationships, that eventually helped me grow my business, right? And then also negotiation, it's very important. That's something that actually I want to go back to, um, you know, my early days, right? So Before I even started all of this, I was working. I had a corporate job, right? I was working as a business analyst at a Staples corporate for about 3 years. So that really helped me because at that time, it really helped me how to become professional in general, right? Because I recently graduated from college. I had zero experience, but I was a financial analyst, but I was really on the business side of it, right? So I was leveraging every knowledge that I can get while I was working at Staples, like how to talk to the vendors, how to negotiate with the vendors, how to create new relationships with the vendors, how to retain relationships with the vendors, and how to find where to go um, in order to find like new relationships, right? So it was very helpful for me to like how to talk, right? Like how
Mhm.
to talk, how to be professional, how to use that corporate language, right? So those are like the key stuff that kind of like laid my foundation while I
Mhm.
was working there. So like all that experience, I leveraged that, and I'm using that into my business today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, circling back everything to the year we are in, like 2026, let's say if you had to start everything from scratch in 2026, what are the things you would cut? What are the things you would double down on? And what are the things that you would master early?
Yeah. So like I said before, don't chase trendy products, right? Absolutely not, right? You're gonna probably make some money for the first few days or like a month, but when it comes down to you replenishing the products, it's probably gonna tank. The market's
Mhm.
probably gonna tank, and you're probably gonna lose some money, right? And then double down on products that are performing well, right? Like I said in earlier, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Purchase 10, 15, 20 different products, right?
Mhm.
Let's say, and my strategy when I say that is if you look at, for example, S&P 500 stocks, right? You have 500 different companies within that stock, and if let's say 10 companies plunged, you still have 490 different companies that's going to help you go back up, right? So you have to use the same strategy. When you're purchasing products, you purchase 20 different products across all the categories. And if 10 products fail, you still have that another 10 products where you can make money from those products that tanked, right? So you have to use that kind of strategy. And another thing that I want to see is learn to read your numbers, right? And then make strategic decisions without being emotional, like I mentioned earlier, right? So based off of that, what's working, what is not working. You have to be real quick to capture that market, and then when it comes to replenishing, whatever product tanked, you just leave it, let it go, and then the products that are performing well, you stacked on it, you double down it, and that's how you scale.
That's really strategic. And that is, of course, experience talking, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's make this the last panel question. And this one is a little personal kind of question. So, who do you have, who did you have to become as a human or personally to be able to operate this multi-million dollar business? You know, what kind of habits you had to give up? What new habits you had to adopt? And how has your risk audience evolved?
Yeah, so as a person, personally, I had to become someone who values discipline over dopamine, right? So early on, I was just chasing quick wins, all those revenue numbers that I was talking about. Oh, I did 20K in revenue this month. I made 20K. No, no, once you subtract all of those operational expenses, you're probably making like $2,000, right? So from 20K to $2,000, that's a huge thing, right? So those are like the things that I was kind of chasing. I was just chasing revenues, but I didn't know like the back end cost of it, my operational expenses and then those kind of stuffs. And I was just trying to like I was looking to make like quick money um, from trendy products. But like now I'm really obsessed with like having that stability, that structure, and then like kind of like long-term thinking. Right? So like I basically any products that I try to bring into my business, I kind of like think about if I can sell this product for at least the next 6 months or not, right? Because in order to have a sustainable business, in order to make sure your business is alive, you need to make sure that the revenues should be growing every month, right? So it's very important to not chase trendy products, and it's very important to like chase those everyday products, right? So everyday products is like, for example, body wash, soap, toothbrush, like those kind of stuff. Those are not trendy products, right? So whatever you see on TikTok, those TikTok candies, it's gonna blow up for a while. It's good. You can make some quick $1,000, $2,000, but in the long term, it's not going to be beneficial. It's not going to be sustainable for your business.
Wow, such a strong note. And I loved every bit of it. Thank you so much, Ankit, for actually breaking down the mechanics rather than just the highlight reel, right? So well explained. I loved it. I know the audience is feeling the same. So we're almost getting closer to the top of the hour. So let's open it up for the audience Q&A now. Then, guys, it's your turn. And good thing is, this time you can actually raise your hand. Whoever has questions or anything resonated with you, raise your hand. I'll call out your name, unmute your mic, and you can ask the questions. And if you are super uncomfortable doing that, that's fine too. You can still write your questions in the chat, and I'll read it later on and bring it to the speaker. All right, we have Swatch. Go ahead, Swatch. The floor is yours.
Okay. So I have two primary questions. One was you talked about Keepa, which was a software for Amazon sellers, and the other one was RevSeller. Do you have you'd mentioned a couple other tools that you do use, and if you could expand on marketing tools, that'd be great if you do use any, but mainly other tools that you use.
So there are marketing tools within the Amazon seller portal, right? So within, if you once you create an Amazon seller portal, underneath that portal, there are um, softwares that Amazon has created themselves for Amazon sellers, where you can use it for marketing purposes.
Okay.
That's a great question, Swatch. And Prince, go ahead.
Yeah, Uncle Dai, firstly, obviously you're doing amazing. So this is great. Great for you to hop on here and share your knowledge. And the question I had was, what makes you different, right? There's a lot of people doing very similar things that you're doing. And why would people who are buying things pick off your store rather than other people's?
It really the answer for this could be very vague. It's very really depends on the products that I'm selling, right? So I typically try to choose products that are like in the niche category, right? Where there is a lot of demand, but there's not enough supplies. So in that case, they don't really have any other option than to purchase it from me, because like I said, if you kind of like follow the trendy products, there's going to be like 50 different seller selling the same product. And at that point, it's very hard for you to, sell your product at a given time, versus if you have like in a listing where there's like 3 to 5 different sellers selling it, and then you have it pretty in stock, um, and then you have your account health is in good condition. All these kind of metrics fall into it, and then Amazon's going to give you that sale rather than other sellers whose account health is not in good shape and their in-stock rate is not good.
Got
So
it. So I guess marketing wise, is there anything that you do differently? Or do you put money into marketing at all?
I do. So I only do it on PPC campaigns, right? Pay-per-click campaigns. That's eventually I do like 5 cents per click. And it really depends on, I don't put it on all the products. I usually try to put it on products where I have to move my units quicker. If there are any units that are staying at the warehouse for a very long time and I'm not getting a lot of sales, or like the demand is like slowing down, I try to put marketing campaigns on those kind of products. So it's whenever people search up on Amazon.com, those products bump up on the first page, and then there's more exposure to the customers, and they're gonna purchase the product. But of course, yeah, you're gonna have to cut it down from your margin, which is another hidden cost that I was talking about earlier.
Got it. Yeah. So just last question. So for someone like you who's been in business for a while now, monthly, what would it look like for the overhead um, cost, right? So overhead after the revenue that you make and the take home, not the take home, but what out of the revenue, how much are you losing?
From like my business or like in general?
In general is fine, but I mean, if you want to share your personal one, obviously, more
Uh,
than
In
okay.
general, it really depends, right? So at what scale are you doing, right? If you're doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, your operational cost is probably going to be like around $500, right? But then if you're doing at a larger scale, it's going to be close to 10 grand, just operational expenses, right? So it really depends, like what level of seller you are. The higher you are, the more operating expenses that you're gonna have. But again, the revenue is going to go up, so it's going to offset.
Wonderfully explained. Prince, do you have any other questions?
No, no, that should be all. There's
All right,
plenty more people asking questions.
perfect. All
Thank
righty, thank you. Pratyus, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Ankit, thank you so much for this lovely session. I had a great time and got to learn a lot. So my question was like, for example, if Amazon changed its free fee structure tomorrow, which of your models would survive and which would collapse?
My wholesale business model is going to survive because I've been doing that for years, and since I'm purchasing from like their authorized distributor, suppliers, manufacturer, I'm very sure that I'm getting the best cost versus, people, if I were to purchase that same product and do retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, which is basically purchasing the product at a retail price, right? So there's a high chance that, if Amazon changes the structure of their fees, there's a high chance that the retail arbitrage and online arbitrage people are um, will be hit the most. For FBA business models, here's another thing, right? So for FBA business models, since I'm purchasing directly from the suppliers, I have the power to negotiate because I have the relationship, and then I can probably tell them, I can ask them for volume discounts, right? Since I'm already doing business with them, for years, I have that relationship, so I can leverage that relationship to get a even better pricing, right? So that's thing. Or maybe I can put in a special order 6 months ahead, and then I can put in I can commit certain amount of units. Let's say, for example, I will buy a full truckload. My price right now is $7, but if I purchase that same product, a full truckload, will you give it to me for $4? And they will probably say yes because I'm purchasing in bulk. So volume. So when it comes to volume and you kind of like play those kind of roles and when you're negotiating with suppliers, it's going to be very beneficial, right? So if Amazon changes the price, I can go ahead and talk to my suppliers, right? Versus if you do retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, you cannot go to like the stores. You cannot go to Target.com and then negotiate, right? Whatever they're selling, you have to purchase at that price.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Great question. Hira, go ahead.
Hi, Ankit. Thank you so much for that thorough introduction. I'm not a business person. I'm just learning a lot today. One question I had was about the SOPs you mentioned. Does Amazon provide any like templates? Do they have a preference of what any kind of like specific standardized templates, or do you just come up with your own for the product handling in,
Wait,
okay,
they give us like a benchmark
got it.
when it comes down to SOPs. Like let's say for example, if I'm selling a fragile item, they
Mhm.
tell me to, hey, this product needs to be, prepped inside a bubble wrap. Or if I'm selling a product as a six pack, they're gonna tell me that, hey, there should be sold as a it should be put it inside a poly bag, and then you're gonna have to put a sold as set sticker. So those are like the kind of only instructions that they're gonna give, right? But when it comes down to operational SOPs, that is something that then over the time I created by my own, since I've been doing this for a while, trying to be more efficient with my time. So like I was just playing around. I have changed my SOPs multiple times. I'm just trying to make it better every time, right? So, and that's how I come up with my own SOP. That's going to be beneficial for my business model.
That's great. I'm an SOP nerd, so like I just love. I was wondering if I'm as you, but thank you so much. That's very helpful.
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions in the chat, so I'm not going to take it too much time, but I appreciate you
Yeah.
answering my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hira. And Dheeraj, are you guys different or the same person?
Different.
We're different.
Alrighty. Dheeraj, go ahead, and then it will be followed by Dheeraj.
Okay. Hello, Ankit Dai.
Hello.
My question is like, as a beginner, so if we are testing the products from like different categories, so is it necessary to have the store of like a niche store, or like we can have like a multiple store within a same Amazon seller account?
Oh, so you're talking about having multiple sellers account?
No, no, I mean like if you want to test the product from the different category.
Okay. So you're
So
basically saying that sourcing products from different stores.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely, you can do that. You can purchase some products from Lowe's. You can purchase some products from Target, Walmart, does not matter. What it really matters is you need to have one Amazon selling account.
Yeah. So within the same store, we can have like a different category. I mean, the product from different category.
Yes, you can. So you can purchase like toys from
Yeah.
Target. You can purchase, I don't know, like coffee, chips, whatever you want, you can purchase it. But the main important thing is it has to go under your one
Mm.
selling account.
Because like when I see in the Amazon, so most of the store they have like a niche products. For example, some of them are selling the jewelry, right? And
Mhm.
some of them are selling the clothing items. And if we visit their store, like they have their own like the name of the same category,
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So
You can sell in multiple categories at the same time.
no, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Perfectly explained. Ankit, we are almost close to 8. Do you think we can go over maybe 5 to
Yeah,
10 minutes more?
yeah,
Can
that's
we?
fine. That's fine, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Then, Dheeraj,
Yeah,
you're next.
yeah. Sorry that I know we're out of time. But my question I had was, how much time should I expect to spend daily or weekly? And is this side also realistic for someone with a full-time job? Yeah.
Yes.
And how did you start? Did you start it as a side hustle or did you start full-time right away?
Yeah, so I started as a side hustle. I was still in college. Um, so I used to do this like during after hours or like over the weekends. I used to go to stores and purchase products. But yeah, like to answer your question, you can start this as a side hustle and then slowly, eventually when you grow it, you're gonna have to probably give some more hours. But yeah, during early time, you're gonna have to give it more hours because you have to understand the business models, right? You're gonna be making a lot of mistakes at first, right? And it's all about repetition. You make mistakes, you go ahead, purchase products again, you learn something from that mistake, and then you go ahead and purchase that product again. Um, and then make sure you don't, make sure that you don't follow that, make that same mistake, and then you learn something from it, and then go ahead and purchase different product. So in terms of timing, probably I would say like 5 to 6 hours a week as a side hustle, just to have some products online and get some sales and to understand the business model. I think that should be perfect start for you.
Thank you, Lay. How much can I, as a beginner, how much can I make? How much can I expect to make within, let's say, was 3 months. Uh,
It's
considering, yeah,
honestly,
uh,
it's about how hungry you are.
right.
The more hours you put in, the more money you're gonna be making it. And I'm
Is
pretty
hunger.
sure, I'm pretty sure, I'm talking from my experience. The more hours you put in, like first, you need to understand how this business model works, right? And you're going to be spending a lot of those times to understand the business model. And then again, you're going to have to physically go to the stores, right? So let's say you found one product at Target, your nearby Target store, right? They only have like five products. So you are looking to buy, let's say, 50 products of that one same product, you're gonna have to go to another Target store. Maybe they have like five. Then you have to go to another Target store. So like you probably have to go like 4 or 5 different Target stores to get that first 50 units that you want to send it to Amazon. And that's gonna take some time as well.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But if any of us wanted to reach out to you, I feel like I have so many other questions. I kind of I'm interested to learn more about it. If it can, yeah, where can we reach out to you outside of this call? I
Um,
know,
Yeah, I think there's like a link or something, right, Alicia, for whoever attends this show, this call can have a meeting with me. Do we have a system set up for that?
I'm quite not sure about that. Is Shrestha in the call right now? He might have some idea about it.
I'm here. So what we
Okay,
can do is, Ankit, if you have a Calendly, we can drop it below. Worst case scenario, drop your LinkedIn. People can connect with Ankit, and then make sure you drop a note saying, "Hey, I was in your thing. It was amazing. Ankit, Dai, please coach me." Something like that. And then Ankit's probably gonna take it from there.
Yeah, and I also have my contact information on the app. So if you go to my profile, I have my LinkedIn website attached to it. So you can just click on it and send me a request, send me a message, and then we can set up some time.
And just a heads up, guys, Circle Ma, you can actually DM people. So you can shoot over a DM straight to Ankit. I bet he's gonna reply. So do that. If you don't, I'm gonna be a little sad because you guys aren't leveraging the platform. But anyways, Alicia, passing it back to you, eh?
wonderful. So guys, do that. And so guys, we have so many questions in the chat right now. What we are gonna do is whichever question gets the highest likes, we are gonna pick a couple of them, maybe two or three more. So right now we have the highest like on this one question that says, can you explain a little more on how to recycle the products in the stories to avoid the charges?
How to recycle the product. Okay. Yeah, could you repeat that again?
It says, can you explain a little more on how to recycle the products in the stories to avoid the charges? Maybe basically different ways to
Yeah,
avoid the
so
charges.
I would say if you have a product that is overstock, right, what you can do is run some ads. You can run some pay-per-click ads, or maybe you can run some volume discounts, right? Let's say if you are really overstock and you're getting hit with those surplus charges, what you could do is hey, purchase 5 units from me, I'll give you 10% discount, right? So something like that where you can like move your units quickly. That's one of the thing. Another thing is invest on pay-per-click ads where your product is going to be all the way on the top of the search bar. And that way, the customer is going to have more visibility to your product. And that way you'll be selling more units than usual. So those are like the two key things that I would focus on if you have any units that are like just staying, getting dust from the warehouse.
Wonderful. I hope you guys took a note of that. Next, we have question that says, for the FBA wholesale, how do we go about finding the suppliers? Are we going to be rejected a lot since we don't have any history? And what would be any niche for products that would recommend to start with, or a couple of products maybe?
Okay, so how do we go finding product for suppliers, right? So for the wholesale business model, it's usually right in front of your eye, right? So for example, So one of these product, right? Have you guys noticed in the back it says distributed by X, Y, and Z company, right? I'm sure you guys have seen it, right? So for example, for this product, Crafty Patties watermelon sour candy, it's telling me that it's being distributed by Frankfurt Candy LLC in Philadelphia, right? So this is one of the strategy that I use to find suppliers. So I cold call this supplier and I speak to the sales representative over there and I tell them that I'm interested in purchasing this product, so I'm interested in opening a wholesale account with you guys, right? So at first, you're going to be rejected a lot because, like you mentioned, when you don't have a lot of history, um, it's going to be very hard to like work with big suppliers, right? There are suppliers that are in different categories from small to big. So when you're a new seller selling in this wholesale business model, you'll probably have more luck working with small suppliers where they don't really ask for a lot of references, right? So big suppliers, they typically they do a lot of credit check. They ask for your trade references, and they ask for you to sign a contract, like basically telling them, I'll purchase like 500,000 worth of product in 1 year. So you basically have to sign a contract. So those are like the big players, right? But the small players, they're not gonna tell you to sign any sort of contract. They will just tell you, hey, you should purchase product. Like maybe 2,000 is the minimum. You can purchase product from us. 2,000 is the minimum, and then you can go from there. So there's no such sort of requirements when it comes down to working with small suppliers. But that's what I recommend for you. So if you're trying to start with FBA wholesale, go with small seller first, build that credit history, build that business. And once you are about to scale up, once you have more working capital, then you go and reach out to the big guys. And you can tell them, hey, I've been working with this and this supplier for X 4 or 5 years. I've been doing placing 50, 60,000 worth of order from this supplier every month. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about this. I wanted to add your products in my catalog, and we believe we can purchase 80, 90,000 worth of product every month. So that's when you're talking numbers, right? So all these suppliers are very fed up with like these small Amazon sellers where they're very inexperienced and they don't really, I guess, um, they don't reply, they don't try to like put maintain a business relationship with these some of these suppliers, and it just like that creates a very bad reputation as an Amazon seller in whole. So they're very, very catered towards like who should I work with and who should I not work with. So when you're speaking to these suppliers, it's very important that you speak their language. So if you're like not speaking their language, they're gonna reject you right now, like on the first call.
Very wonderfully explained. Credibility matters, right?
Yeah.
Now we have time for one more last question. This is going to be the last question that says, how do you guys deal with buyers exploiting Amazon features such as unwarranted returns and fraud? And one more thing, what percent of your monthly sales is your returns right now?
Um, so right now, so to answer the second part of your question, I would say about 5%. 5% in return, right? But it really depends. Like we categorize it, what kind of return is it? So if it's something that I can resell it again, it's in good condition, I'll go ahead and resell it, right? But then if it comes back very damaged and I can't really sell it, there are two options. I can basically destroy it, or I can just give it to a liquidation company, right? And then the first part was uh what was the first part again? I forgot, sorry.
The what percent of the monthly sales is the returns?
No, that was the second part.
Oh, the first part was how do you deal with those taking advantage of Amazon features?
Amazon features.
Yes, I guess like unwarranted returns
Oh,
and all that.
returns.
I guess
Okay.
you answered it.
So yeah, basically that we open up a case with the Amazon customer service team, and we have to, take pictures, submit invoices, and basically tell them that whatever product that we received was not our product, right? Like for example, the barcode that I was showing, right? So that is my barcode. So if I received a product with a different barcode, it basically tells that that's not my barcode. So I can basically fight with Amazon and try to get my money back to saying, hey, you guys returned a different product that does not um, that does not belong to my store. So you just have to like open up a ticket with them and try to solve the problem.
Nice, wonderful. So I guess now we might have to bring the conversation to a close. But before we do that, as we promised earlier, there will be a rapid fire round at the end. So let me get into it immediately. While I do that, guys, I've dropped a short feedback form in the chat. So take a minute or two and fill it up. We genuinely take those advices when we're planning new sessions, upcoming sessions. So please do that. And let's get back to Ankit Dada now. So few things. You'll have few words or just a sentence max to answer all of these things. I'll have 10 questions. I'll read one by one. No overthinking, no over explanation, just the first instinct that comes in your mind.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure, I'll try my best.
Alrighty, let's go. If Amazon disappeared tomorrow, would you still be in e-commerce? Yes or no?
Yes.
Conservative or aggressive decision maker?
Really depends on the product.
Depends on the product. Diversify early or focus on one product?
You shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket.
You heard that. A belief you changed your mind about.
Uh, I need to have a growth mindset.
Growth mindset. Cash flow or enterprise value,
Cash flow, because you gotta open up your business every month.
right? Slowing growth or operational chaos.
Um, wow, that's tough. I would say a slow growth,
Slow growth. Crowded market or niche.
niche.
First metric you check, Delhi.
Oh, margin.
Resilience or intelligence.
Both goes in hand.
Both goes hand in hand. Wonderful. Finish the sentence. Entrepreneurship is not for people who.
Who are not in a long-term game.
Wow, wonderful. That was sharp. And that summarizes the entire session in just 1 minute, I guess. So that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Ankit. I learned a lot, and I guess we had very great number of individuals joining us today. And I'm damn sure every single individual took a very strong framework around the business. I mean, business is the kind of topic that seems so simple to hear and feels like everyone can do that, but there's a very complex system operating behind the scenes, right? Thank you so much for breaking down. I really appreciate that. And thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you. Really enjoyed it.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
And thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Your presence is what makes this conversation so valuable. Thank you for being here. Thank you for unmuting your mic, asking your questions. Thank you for dropping the questions in the chat. Thank you for everything. And I've dropped a short feedback form in the chat. Take your time, 1 or 2 minutes. I'll still be in the call. So take a minute or two. Please fill it out. We actually look at those feedbacks and we use them to plan our upcoming sessions. So please do that for us. And if you loved our session today, would love to see you guys in our upcoming session on February 25. We are joined by Sudeep Regni. He's the head of enterprise data management and innovation at Takeda. He'll teach you how careers actually grow in tech and AI. So it's going to be another wonderful session then. I would love to see you guys there. Take your time, fill the feedback form. I'll still be in the call. And Ankita, again, thank you so much. I learned a lot. I enjoyed a lot.
Thank you, guys.